3.
All right, we are live. Cool. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the end of the Culture Bytes classic college jam. We've had a great 2 weeks making experiences for the theme of legacy, with the food of collard greens being our main dish of choice. Shout out and thanks to all of our jammers and chefs for their time and effort prepping for the jam, and just like the time spent during the whole experience. There was a lot of good conversation, a lot of interesting mechanics and engines being used for this jam, which is pretty unique for us. I think this would be our fourth jam of the Culture Byte series now, and I would say it's one of our most um, diverse in terms of tools and experiences made in like a nice different groups that we've gotten together this time around. So I'm looking forward to seeing what everyone has managed to make over this last 2 weeks and what they've been able to complete. If it's just like a full experience, a piece of something, or just like a small feature or a toy, all of that, it matters. The important part of this experience is that we were able to collaborate, develop familiarity with different tools and development processes, and challenge ourselves creatively with using this theme of legacy, right? And also, it's really cool coming off the heels of Black History Month. We're now very much into March, but when we started, we were towards the beginning of March. So it's been interesting keeping on that energy moving forward through the next month, So um, Burr, let's pull up our submissions for the jam, and we're going to get started with a showcase today, and bring in the different teams that worked on each experience and let them talk a bit and give some Q&A, and we'll show off the work.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, so yeah, I'll navigate to the submissions page.
Perfect. Okay. So we've got 4 main submissions, and I think we've got one more group that did not get theirs in time, I believe. But we will still figure out how to get their work showing today during the session, but we'll have them go last. But let's start with the Red Tails, the Red Tails game, and we'll bring in Levester to come on and show and talk about his game.
Okay, Levester, I'm dragging you up here. Prepare yourselves.
Let's see.
Hold on 1 sec. Wait, where'd he go?
Oh, he's gone. Oh, he went to the showcase room. I should get rid of that one.
Hold on. There we go.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the end result of his, because he actually was trying to get some voice acting help during the experience too. So.
Oh, that's not good. Okay, let's just actually hop down to the showcase channel. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. PRP.
Hey, sorry about that. We were trying some stuff out, and Didn't seem like it was working right. So all good though. All good. This should work. All right. Figuring it out bit by bit. Mm-mm.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Nice, 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 nice. All right, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, bro, we good?
Yeah. Stream is up. Everyone should be able to see us.
Okay, cool.
We can start showing off the games.
All right.
Bet. You gonna do the stream in the Discord too?
No, I can only show the window.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Okay, so we'll have a little bit of delay for the video.
oh, gotcha. Hold on.
Oh, okay. All right, bet. Cool. Yeah, go ahead and pull up the itch.io page for Red Tails, and then Levester, introduce yourself. I think it's just you on this one, right? If I'm
Yep.
correct. So yourself and the game and the theme connection. Let's talk about that first.
All right. Well, I am Lavesta Posey, and my team name this time around was the Mean Greens Dev Team. And like you said, I was solo developing on this one. And for the theme of legacy, I chose to make a game to pay homage to the Red Tails, the Tuskegee Airmen, and their story. And it's something that I always wanted to do. And it's like one of my first game ideas when I first started game development. But at the beginning, I didn't feel like I had the skill set to pretty much produce the game and pretty much have the idea of what I wanted. So now that it's been brought up, and then this theme being legacy, I chose to tackle it and try to pursue this idea and try to make this game.
Awesome. Yeah, I really like the narrative, and you tackling this like actual piece of history in such a way. That's the particular part that's pretty unique about it. Bear, can you click into there's another section um, of the page, like the actual page itself. Trying to see from your screen, where is that? Go back to that one again.
This one? Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay. Go to view game page right next to the title.
Gotcha.
There we go. Yeah. Here's the full page. Yeah, cool. Wanted to make sure that got shown while we were on here. All right, bet. Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, what we wanted to do is we're gonna show the video, and then while it's playing, for you to give commentary while we go through it.
Okay.
And then we'll start from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Playing the video now.
Like you said, this is something that I always wanted to do, and previously I just didn't have the skill set, and I really didn't know direction to take this type of project. But me having my own company, my virtual reality company, and making games, I want to be able to tell tell stories from African American perspective, and be able to give the narrative of our place in history and different things like that. So that's pretty much where I want to take my development with it, just to tell the stories and tell our point of view and perspective of gaming and with the games and things that I make.
About your time as a
And then here
pilot?
at the beginning, you pretty much you start out as a teenager, and you just at your great grandfather's house. He was a Tuskegee Airman, and you ask him about his time in the war, and it flashes back to when you are to one of his battles, his air battles, and you flash back to being in an airplane and guiding bombers to their destination.
Word. Okay. So he's with his whole. Is there a word for like his like crew of people in the sky?
Yep. So yeah, he's with his squadron there in the sky, and they're guiding those bombers there to the left. You can see I'm trying to just show some of the movements and things like that as you
Yeah.
play. And I wanted to design it to pretty much be more of a story than versus like the gameplay. So more of the focus I want you to take away is what he went through and what happened. So you really don't control the flying. So the flying aspect is all like on rails, but you can move the plane left and right to shoot things down. But that will prevent players from like just flying off into the sky and flying away from the objectives and things like that. So I wanted to keep the player engaged in this story. So that's why there's like predefined air paths and things like that. But you still can shoot down the planes, and you. Further, if I go on to develop this game, you get like accolades for actually shooting them down. But it is kind of hard to shoot them down too.
Yeah.
I mean, this is crazy. Yeah, the wing design. And...
Oh, I like the detail.
Barrel roll.
Bear, is the dialogue coming through decently? I noticed some dialogue.
Yes. Yeah. I can hear Levester. The stream will be able to hear.
Oh, good. Like I said, that was like just a short, probably like minute and a half of gameplay there, and then you just flash back to being with your grandfather, and then like I said, further development, he'll just tell you like different accounts of his place in the war and things that he went through.
Gotcha. Okay, so the larger idea is to have these sequences of these flashbacks, right? Kind of situation. Mm. That's cool. I like the little detail of the tutorial in the beginning as well.
And I just try to keep it simple because, like I said, it's more about the story. So all you have to do is just grab the controller and then just shoot. So you don't have to really worry about a lot of like difficult gameplay or anything. Like I said, I want the people to take away more of the storyline and just see and feel what these men went through and things like that. And like I said, bigger picture, I would want to be more air battles and then also things that they did on the ground as well, like some of their training and like some of the people they encountered as well.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what's up. I like that. Yeah, this turned out pretty good. How long is the full experience with the one that's on itch?
So yeah, so this is probably about 3 minutes. So if you from beginning to end, maybe like 3 minutes long.
Okay, gotcha. Cool. Well, yeah, the fact that you were able to get like a full or at least a piece of that story, completed and in and playable from beginning to end with the whole loop, that's like always a win for a jam.
Yeah, thank you.
So that's really great. Let's open it up for some Q&A real quick. We still have some time before we need to move on to the next team. So yeah, to our viewers and other chefs, drops, if you have any questions that you wanted to pose, drop them into the chat. And we'll ask a few before we move on to the next team.
All right.
Getting some claps from Jazz.
And shout out to her. She did the voice of the teenager at the beginning.
Okay. You guys are able to get some like better audio.
Yeah.
Levester had wanted me to do a thing, and we tried to do it via over Discord, the audio, and it did not come out very clear.
Scott has a question, Levester, about what was the toughest part of development?
So the toughest part, so I guess it just came in iterations. The toughest part maybe was trying to plan out the routes. So the way I made, like I said, they're on rails, so the planes pretty much fly themselves, and that was probably the longest and tedious. Is just planning out those routes because I had to like put the waypoints and just their place in space one by one to plan those out. And then after that was probably the dialogue, so I didn't know what to say, and then it all just came to me like the last night to like all that audio that you saying that the conversation between everybody and timing that out to be lined up with each other. That probably was the hardest part.
Mm. Yeah, that last minute stuff. I hear that.
I mean, yeah, 2 weeks to like create an entire, VR sequence like that. Yeah, it's just I couldn't imagine. So, um, uh, Dave asks, did you find this easier to develop than the last one?
Oh, he's talking about the last
Yeah,
jam.
last game jam.
Yeah.
I want to say it was easier. This one, I was more passionate about it, just because, like I said, it's something I had an idea for a long time. So I had more passion to do this one. So that probably made it seem easier and less difficult than the last one. And so yeah, to me it seemed pretty easy. I did, like I said, it did fine. I did run into some roadblocks with just like the if you look at like the grandfather, he's actually talking, and another roadblock I had was trying to fix animations together because at first I wanted him to look like he was drinking from a cup. So he's like holding the cup, he's just sitting there sipping tea, and then it like transitioned to you asking him the question and things like that. But I couldn't get that all working out. So here, I would say it was a lot easier just because I was more passionate about it, about the idea.
Mm. And it's a bit simpler too in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
As far as the mechanically and in the technical
Yeah.
aspect.
So yeah, this time I didn't have to worry about like the player walking around and like the
Right.
last game we did, we had to like solve puzzles and it was more of
Yeah.
like an escape room type situation. And so yeah, this one I didn't really have to worry about walking around and grabbing certain items. You just had to sit there and shoot essentially.
And that
Right.
one was
Yeah.
in half the time too. Yeah. I think that was
Mhm.
only a week jam, so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Right. That's what's up. Got one more question. We'll take a few more.
Yeah, one more. What kind of music would you like to add to Red Tails? It's a good
So
question.
here, so I want to go with more of a cinematic effect. So I would go with more dramatic music, and just that's pretty much it. So I want it to be more of a cinematic event. So you see movies, you sometimes want to be in the movies. So I want to also get that feel that you're in the movie or in the situation. And then one thing that do that is the music within the movie. So I want more dramatic music. I'm not big on music, so I don't know exactly what type of music. I just know I would want it more
Sure.
dramatic and more intense.
Just call up Hans Zimmer. Yeah, he'll figure it out.
Mhm.
John Williams. Yeah.
I hear that. Yeah, definitely something very bombastic, maybe is the word. That's good. That's good. Um, let's see. I'm not seeing any other ones come in, so I'll pose one more that could be interesting. Um, what was it about? Kind of, you say you've been sitting on this idea for a while now, so and this kind of prompted the right timing creatively, it
Mhm.
seemed like. So, what was it? I might already know this answer, but other people might not know. But what was it about the Tuskegee Airmen that you wanted to make something about their their place in history?
So they just always been inspired to me. Like you said, you do know I went to Tuskegee University, and while I was there, I did learn about them and other African Americans in our culture, and that's where I really got engaged with our culture and things. And it's just a story that I didn't know growing up and wasn't taught to me while I was in grade school and high school and things like that. So I went to Tuskegee University and I learned about these men and the things they went through, and then I learned more about our ancestors and the things they went through too. Um, get us here and things like that. So I just want their story to live on and be told through different mediums so everybody can know what they went through, what they did for us, and how we can proceed and use that as motivation. So like I said, this theme being legacy, I feel like this is their legacy they left for us to continue to do great things.
I feel that. Yeah. And it's a story that continues to need to be told by those of us that know it and care about it. Since
Mhm.
it's not like a lot of stories like these aren't widely told in a lot of educational settings all the time. So you got to get it from somewhere, and someone's got to talk about it.
I would argue they're actively being erased. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then I also just want to encourage people. The first setting of the theme, like how you are a teenager talking to your great grandfather, just want to encourage people to talk to their grandparents, their great grandparents, and just talk to them and see what they've been through and then what their stories are. My grandfather, he passed away a couple years ago, and he was in the army. I wish I would have talked to him more. I was just young and just wanted to be young and just have my own fun. But now that I'm older, I wish I would have talked to him more and just see what he'd been through and things like that. My wife, when I first joined the army, he always told me stories about when he was in the army. So it's always good to hear his side of things back then when he was in the army and things like that. So I just want to encourage people to talk to your elders and see what their stories are and just tell those to your kids and just make that story last longer.
Yes. Yes, yes, the elders, yes. The wisdom keepers. Yes. I feel that. Okay, well that's good time for this one. We should move on to the next team.
Right.
Thanks, Sylvester. Thanks for showing everything off. Thanks for talking and giving your input. Very good experience. Will be helping you to push this continued forward as you continue the journey of development for this experience. So very cool.
Thank you.
Dope, dope. All right, bro. Let's bring in Scott next.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. I guess I don't think I have the ability to drag people around in this server. So Scott, yeah, if you could, there you are.
Oh, okay, okay. We'll fix that later. All right, bet. And then head back to the submission page, and we'll jump into the next game. Dope. So we'll be pulling up Dig Deep, the next one. Perfect. Cool, cool. Scott, what's going on, man?
Not much. You hear me all right?
I think so.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you're coming in clear.
Awesome. All right, cool. Well, let's jump into it, dude. Go ahead and give a little introduction for the team and the game and its connection to the theme, and then we'll start from there.
Yeah, for sure. So the game we made is Dig Deep. The team members, there was myself. It was actually quite a big team for the game that you're gonna see. Myself, Tim helped. Our friends Tanya and Dave, who also participated in another project in the jam. And our friend David, Love Made Music, who's over in Japan. I'm not sure if he's here on the stream with us right now, but so we had like 5 people on our team. And the project is this game that we made called Dig Deep. The kind of idea here, the story is that uh, you have to journey down into this kind of burial site to recover a family heirloom that's been buried underneath there. The burial site's going to be sort of paved over, in 24 hours. So you've just got this really restricted time to get in there, get what you're going for, and get out. Um, and connecting that kind of back with the theme, the idea is to connect sort of legacy with the physical objects that we interact with. The hand me downs, the things that we get from our more immediate family. So not necessarily like deep ancestry, but like it could be as close to you as like your grandparents or whatever. Yeah, that's the long and short of it, at least.
Awesome. Yeah, this was a fun little project to work on with y'all this time around. Also, you should please mention the engine y'all used, which is also very unique.
Yes. Yeah. So we made this game using Pico 8, which for those unfamiliar, Pico 8's kind of this interesting little. They call it a fantasy console, and so it's this half game engine, half game platform where you sort of develop your game in this really retro like mini player. And the game engine itself is fairly bare bones. Like the programming is all done with Lua scripting, and I think out of the box the kind of standard utilities that you get are like a thing to do sprite rendering and a basic game loop. But outside of that, oh, and Pico 8 also gives you like a sprite editor and a music editor and stuff like that. But outside of that, you're sort of, constructing your own thing from scratch. And the whole engine, it's a 2D engine, so a lot of the games tend to end up to break those limitations, so to speak.
That's true. That's true. Cool. Bear, let's pull up the video and let's show things off a little bit.
Yeah, can do.
Awesome. There we go.
That's a bummer. I'm not sure if the audio is coming through for other people. I can't quite hear it, but
it's coming through on the stream, just not
okay,
in
cool,
Discord.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is all sprite work that our friend Tanya put together. All the programming was done by me, and so the basic idea here is like it's the game design sort of elements that it kind of pulls from. It pulls from like sort of Minesweeper in that sort of hot and cold, figure out where to dig kind of mechanic zone. It also kind of pulls from Spelunky in that there's this sort of underground and randomly generated theme. Oh, the dude just picked up a bomb there. Hey, look at that. I love that bomb effect. That was my favorite thing.
Yeah.
And so here in the game, you can kind of see him. He's digging around, trying to find the next staircase down to get to the next level. And as he goes down, these layers become bigger and bigger and bigger, and this cavern that he's traversing is just expanding and expanding. So each subsequent layer gets a little harder to find that next, down staircase. But as you're walking around, as you reveal tiles, you can get little hints as to where the next staircase is going to be. So yeah, he's still hanging out. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say as I'm going through this. Actually, I think I remember recording this part of the video. This is probably the midway point where I started having a pretty bad game here. I started dying a ton, so you're more than welcome to skip like a minute or so through. Oh, I remember the other thing I was going to say. I think one of the things when it comes to building Pico 8 games, because you end up with such strong limitations, it does sort of encourage building like more arcade style games. And here, for me, that sort of ended up amounting to like, okay, what strikes me as like an arcade style game that's like fun without being too simple. And so with that, I sort of ended up in sort of like a Mario Party mindset, right? Like, how do you design Mario Party mini games to be engaging, but also small and scoped. And so that's where a lot of the time limit stuff came from here as well, is that desire to sort of want to encourage the player to like act with urgency and make that own urgency like push the game to be a smaller game, but make it still feel like engaging and impactful despite being a smaller game. So even though we still kind of made this arcade thing, it's like it's got sort of the urgency of something that's more of an arcade game, but we still did try to find little places where we could add like narrative meaning to it.
Right. And in this case, we're not seeing any narrative stuff happening yet, but where are the narrative things kind of integrated into this like arcadey gameplay?
Yeah. So, and I realize this after the fact now. This particular video recording doesn't show it, but throughout the level there are these page fragments that you kind of collect, and they're sort of like story item. That will make more sense once we get to the bottom of the pit here. And they inform the story.
Mm. Oh, that was a good one. Wow.
Okay, so now we get to the bottom of the pit, and we finally got this like really important item that we were looking for, Granddaddy's book, whatever this mysterious book is. And you can see I just died there, so now I got to go back down and go get the book again. And
Oh,
so
you
that's
dropped
sort
the
of
book.
also where the story sort of feeds into it. Like, what is this book? Why is it so important that you are within 24 hours excavating this grave? That's where it's sort of we sort of lean into that. And I think this is where I realized that I only had like 3 hours left on the timer, and so I start booking it back.
Yeah, it's like that constant pressure of the timer that's like it's moving super quickly.
The beeps too,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, I almost forgot to mention it. My other favorite thing about this game is like I love how the isometric art style ended up. Like I was saying, like these sorts of games tend to encourage 2D things, and that can often lead to flat 2D. But we ended up getting this cool isometric look to it, and I love it. It made such a pain in the ass writing it, but like it was worth it at the end. And so this is sort of a moment here where we're doing the story. You got out of the grave, and now you're getting this little text crawl, kind of explaining what happened to you on this journey. You ended up getting the item at the bottom of the pit, but if you look at the text, it's like, oh, but there was other things you were supposed to go find, and so that then encourages you to go back and do better next time.
Or Bear, can you go back to that last screen?
Yeah, can do.
And just like pause it there. Yeah, just if people wanted to read it because it went away pretty fast. That was good. That was cool to see. Really good playthrough. Fully playable from start to finish, which is very impressive for one programmer team, kind of similar to Levester, but like something that actually has levels to it and over a course of time. Plus all the smaller details from the artist Tania on that as well. It's a lot of impressive work to get that working on this kind of like experimental engine that not a lot of the people in the group have used before. So it's pretty cool to see. Yeah.
Yeah, for real though, like the just quickly calling it out, I think I was the only person in a 5-person team who had ever worked with Pico 8 before, so the ability of everybody else to like so rapidly jump in and get used to all its weird quirks was super impressive. I was really happy with how that turned out. That was awesome.
Right. hmm Dave says this could be a roguelite game.
Yeah, it's sort of funny, like game jams, I feel like they almost tend to lend themselves to like making roguelikes more appealing because level design takes a whole ton of time, and really good level design takes an impossible amount of time. And so sometimes it's just easier to go like, I'll randomly generate it and it's good enough.
hmm
And so for me, I found it super valuable to just have levels to play around with, and so randomly generating them made it so that I could iterate on game ideas quicker. So it also fed into that as well, where it's like, if I'm waiting for levels to be fully designed, then I'm not getting the chance to play the game and make it fun. But if I've got random stuff generated, then I get to see all the weird corners of how this game plays kind of ahead of time. So it really speeds things up.
Right. I get that. That's what's up. That is the one thing that I noticed about the Pico 8, it seems like as well, was that how quickly it was to iterate on the process, which was pretty unique, I would say, when it comes to a game engine in particular. Um, let's see if anyone asks any questions in the chat, kind of in the Q&A portion. Give a few minutes for that to come through. But as those are coming online, I would say, the standard, what was some of the more technical challenging aspect of the jam this time around?
Um, from a technical perspective, I kind of called it out before, but like the isometric look of the game was sort of interesting. We're effectively mimicking that, right? Like if this was in Unity or something, we'd have a 3D environment, we'd have a 3D camera, we would turn it into isometric 2D mode, and things would be done. But in this case, we had to sort of fake it. So the isometric tiles look isometric because we've got pixel art, which is just drawn, rendered isometrically. Um, And we've got programming logic in the game, which is designed to handle the isometric, like the kind of fake isometric nature of the game. So that led to some interesting, technical challenges.
Mm.
But again, like I was saying, ultimately worth it. I think one thing that I remember talking about in the group chat at one point was like figuring out how to do hitboxes in isometric was like it was sort of an interesting process. I had to do a lot of experimenting with like, okay, what kind of works best here. I tried to do a bunch of custom things with like ray tracing and lines, like lines and hitboxes and stuff, and that wasn't really working. So I ended up having to like approximate sort of like a diamond-shaped hitbox with 3 like rectangular hitboxes. So there's a lot of jank in there, but I think all games are a little bit of tons of jank that's just vulnerably like duct taped together, and it just happens to work. It's sort of a miracle that any games are ever made at all.
It's true. Oh
So yeah,
wow.
the isometric stuff was interesting, and near the end of the project, I think something that came up was so one of the limitations on Pico 8 is that you have to make things in a very constrained like size limitation. Like the entirety of all the code and all the art assets and stuff has to fit in like 64 kilobytes or something like that. Um, and the intent for that, like it's got a good intention there. Like because they make it so small, you can actually share Pico 8 games like as PNG images. Like the entire game can fit inside of a single image file. So it makes sharing the game super easy, and it sort of lends itself to this cool demo scene. But it meant that near the end of the game, I hadn't been thinking about that at all. And suddenly we were trying to do something, and I tried to load the game, and it went cart too big. And I had to go, what? Like, okay, now I got to go back and like cut out parts of code that I wasn't using anymore and like resize things. And like, it was just a whole process of like compressing the cart back to a size that was like, that could actually be iterated on
Oh
again. So
man.
late in the game, when we need to be moving fast because we're trying to get into this, like, we're trying to submit for the game stuff, I'm suddenly having to double back to go like fix things that I didn't think I was gonna have to fix, and so that was like it was interesting, a bit of a nightmare, but it was definitely a challenge.
Yeah, for a programmer, it's like you're always taught to comment your code, right? And this is like, no, no comments. Like there's no space for comments.
Yeah. No comments. The shittiest variable names you've ever seen. The fewer characters, the better.
Right, right, right.
I was only willing to compromise on that so much. I had to find other creative solutions for it.
Oh man. Well, good stuff, Scott, and good stuff to the whole Dig Deep team. For getting everything in and submitted, and so much of it, of the experience done. There were a couple other questions in the chat, and we'll see if we have time at the end of the showcase. We'll try to come back to them. But let's go ahead and move on to our next group. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Let's bring in Jay, and let's pull up the I believe it's the Collards project that's on there. I believe it's that one. Yeah, okay. I'll bring him into the chat. Bring them into the chat. Let's see.
Oh, I think he is here. Jay.
Hey guys, how are y'all?
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up? What's up?
How you doing? Finishing up everything?
I'm good, man. It was an experience. I got a super simple game going, but actually learned a lot. Like I had mentioned last time. This was like my first time actually building something. But yeah, like I said, it's extremely simple. So
I feel it. Okay. Well, yeah, introduce yourself and the game and the theme connection, and then we'll kind of get started with the rest of it.
yeah, for sure. So my name's Jason. So my game is your collard green, Colin the Collard. And the main objective is the game is to gather your friends, which happen to be other ingredients for collard greens, right? And your whole main mission of it is to go and collect all your friends and make it home, right? And home is the whole point is to become the main side dish for this evening's meal, right? But there's enemies which happen to be other sides that are trying to stop you from doing that, right? So the kind of theme is, the Collards jam. I went ahead and went with that, and yeah, I mean, not being, African American or from like the African diaspora, like I actually learned a lot about collard greens while I was just making this game. I did some research and actually learned a lot, and but yeah, it was really fun to work with, and yeah.
Always love to hear that about the learning just because of you're in the process of working with the topic, you know.
Mhm.
That's one of the important pieces. Even for those of us that are in the diaspora, there's a lot of things that we don't know or have never looked into, you know. So it's fun to learn a little bit more
Definitely,
about that kind of stuff. Um,
definitely.
I do love the the idea of trying to become the side dish, you know, keep the others. Very
Yeah, just
cute.
a little silly, quirky, just kind of keep it fun and light.
Yeah, yeah. Perfect for a jam. Oh
Definitely.
man. Bear, do we have a video for this one? Let's see. Hey, we
Yeah,
do.
super short.
Yeah, go ahead, walk us through it while it's happening.
Yeah, so well, I noticed as soon as I exported it, I got some lines in the background, the grid shown, and I didn't have time to go back and figure out what was going on. But yeah, just basic, you know, really basic art style. I was a one-man team here. Um, and yeah, I used a couple assets, and as for characters and things like that, I really couldn't find anything that really matched. So I went ahead. I was talking to my girlfriend about it. She's like, "Oh, hey, I'll do the art for you." So it was her first time doing pixel art. I've never done pixel art, and yeah, I mean that was the whole video right there. But I mean, it was a good time. We went ahead and it was
What are
fun.
the talk to me about the other dishes that are showing.
Yeah, so we got a piece of cheese, and then that's a noodle, so to make macaroni and cheese, right? And then we have a little bean at the bottom running around too, so. And then we're picking up just
Cute.
different ingredients. We're picking up two other, collard greens, as well as some onions, some garlic, some ham hock. But yeah, like I said, I learned a lot. I didn't really, even though I'm originally from Texas, I'm from the South. Uh, where I'm from, we really don't have too many like collard greens or anything like that. So that's was all new to me. I've had them before, but I didn't know the process. I didn't know a lot of it. So again, it was really nice to actually learn about more of that.
That's cool. Yeah. Those are good side dishes to have too. Mac and cheese. You need your garlic and your onion in the dish in general, especially when you're making collard greens. So these are important. Some of these are just like also just like ingredients, right? Which
No,
is
the
cool,
classic. Yeah, the classic side dishes.
right?
Yeah.
Definitely. So, but yeah, I mean, that was kind of it. So, like I said, super simple, a lot of fun, learned a lot, and yeah.
What is this made in?
This was in Unity.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Gotcha. 2D Unity, cool. Um, and it's also a good use of pre-made assets in some cases to kind of get things working
Hmm.
and whatnot. I would yeah, we can jump into the Q&A a little bit then too, since it's a pretty short experience. But one of the things that I was curious about a little bit was with developing this in Unity and you're kind of like getting like your feet wet with using the engine. Um, were there any things in particular that you enjoyed about working in the engine or things that were a little bit of a challenge?
Um. Yeah. I mean, like I said, this is the first time. Like I've worked with Unity once before, but that was
Yeah.
years ago. So there was quite a bit of a difference. Like they've updated a ton since last time I worked in it, and that was just playing around, never actually made anything. Um. But I was actually surprised how easy it makes everything. Like, I code every day. I mean, that's my day job. So, I mean, it was really easy to pick up and actually go through all the documentation, of course, and figure all that out. The hardest part for me actually was the actual level design and making sure things look good, like creating the little, um, creating all the little characters and all that fun stuff. So that was actually the hardest part for me, to be honest.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Getting
Yeah,
them to move
more of
around.
the architecture and stuff wasn't too difficult, building the back end.
Yeah, definitely. It's really crazy how easy like Unity makes all that. That's why looking at like Pico 8 and like the things they were doing in there, like it's crazy. Like just how much I feel like Unity takes care of.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Uh,
true. That's true.
Dave asks, I mean, I feel like you kind of answered this, but yeah, what is something you thought would be hard?
But
Something I
was
thought would. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, but was actually easy.
But was pleasantly surprising in Unity to work on.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was really the coding aspect of it because like I've never really done any coding for video games, and it was really easy to pick up. Like I said, you didn't have to worry too much about movement. You know, you're using the vector twos and all that stuff. That's already pre-made for you, and you're just
Right.
passing in all these functions and making things. You know, it just made things a lot easier, I feel.
It's like,
So I didn't have to waste too much time going through a lot of documentation just to get characters moving. You know, I can spend a lot more time focusing on the things I really wasn't really that strong in, you know?
Mm, yeah, yeah. Get more time learning something new and like not
Definitely,
messing
yeah,
around with like other stuff. Right.
definitely.
That's true. That's true. That's good. That's good. I'm glad you could get that experience. Um,
a question I have, and I was gonna ask Scott too, but just like, how did you choose music? Like, what kind of direction, or did you just, was it like more or less random, or did you have like a specific purpose in mind or a direction you were trying to go in?
As for the music, to be honest, I kind of just went through all the pre-made assets right now.
Sure.
Yeah, actually, Vyrix from we're part of a little music community that we have. I was actually gonna make it myself. I just didn't have some time, but yeah, and then the sound effects. So all the jumping and like when you get hit, that's actually my girlfriend. We were just messing around the other night and we're just recording random sounds and like we went
Okay.
through and like we have a whole bunch of little like percussion instruments around here, just like hitting things and walking around, just hitting stuff, trying to figure out some noises. So that was actually really fun because sound design, I'm a huge audio nerd. So like the sound design aspect of video games is always something I've been interested in, just never really got into. And this was actually a really nice like introduction to all that, you know? So that was another thing that was really cool.
right. I can get with that.
We
Good
do have another
stuff.
question. What's another project you'd like to try in Unity, or would you want to try like a different engine? From
Um,
Dave.
As for projects, I'm not too sure. As for engines, definitely Unreal. I mean, Unreal seems really, I guess it seems a little more hardcore than Unity, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's probably the same. Like I said, I've messed with Unreal, but that was way back in 2007 when I first started getting into programming and stuff. So, um, but yeah, I mean, as for games, there's really nothing that I was like, oh, I want this next idea. It's more of a, if it hits me, then I'm like, all right, let's make it. But I would definitely like to get more into Unity and as well, maybe one day get into Unreal. So,
Gotcha. Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. Um, well, yeah, if there's no more questions coming in, then yeah, this is definitely a good start to like get your feet wet and like make something from scratch, on,
mhm,
in the process. Like when it comes to getting used to an engine, it really is just like how the you just make a bunch of stuff in it, and some of it's throwaway. You make it, then you move on to something else, you know, and just
definitely.
rinse and repeat. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And then you just eventually, get a little bit better at it, and you make more stuff that like you really are like. really like, or like really more passionate about making, kind of thing. It just takes time. Yeah. So it's good. Uh,
Definitely.
what'd you call it? Levester said Unity greater than Unreal. Oh boy,
Oof.
that's an
Fighting
argument.
words.
Those
Yeah.
be fighting words in some groups, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh yes. Oh man. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the next team. We may have to do some things to get this next one to work. So we'll see. But good work, Jay. Good work on your first Unity game and first jam. Glad to see it. And yeah, well, hopefully we'll have you back for some other ones in the future too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely really excited to jump in some more Unity. But yeah, thank y'all. I had a really good time these past 2 weeks, and yeah, looking forward to the next one. Thank y'all.
awesome. All right, we'll bring in Dave, and we'll see what we're gonna do about this. Let's see. Uh, Dave. Give him a second. Um, I think they weren't able to get theirs fully submitted on itch in time due to some technical exporting issues for their build, I believe. So we'll see if there's anything we can do about that.
All right, can you hear me? Can you
Yes.
hear me? All right.
What's up, man?
Hold on. Not much. I'm getting my. Yeah. I spent the last like 3 hours trying to get the game to build, but because of whys, it wouldn't. But I'm not gonna turn this into a rant. Whoa. So.
I got you.
This was like, you need better Unreal. Well, I got some thoughts on that one. Because Wise actually works properly in Unity. There's one. Which is
I
funny.
know your connection is usually not very good where you're at right now, right?
It should be better here. Hello?
Okay, I think you're back.
Thank you, Tim,
Yeah,
for confirming that.
It should be better. Can you hear me?
A little bit better.
Hello?
I think so.
It's a little robotic, Dave.
Hold on. Let me actually close this out.
Yeah.
All right, I closed the stream out, so hopefully it's a little bit better now.
Yeah,
And
a little bit.
all right, cool. Yeah, it's yeah, I was in a place where it was pretty good, but I had to move from there, and things are it's a little bit of uphill battle at the moment, but it's cool. I switched my mic around too, so it should be slightly better. Okay, so yeah, I made a video and put it on my YouTube and also linked it in the what do you call that? The Global Game Jam, or not the Global Game Jam, the Melanated Game Kitchen page, or the personal page. Although I didn't get to submit that either.
Okay, got you.
But it is on the. Do you want me to like send you a link?
Yeah, send us a quick link in the channel. Yeah, and we'll pull that
Okay.
up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get the. Can I get my? Can I get my? Hold on. I'm trying to get back to the page because I had it. Here, I'll just send you the YouTube link. it's
Yeah.
everything that's on there is in there. So let's see. I'll go to the
Okay.
co-working thing. I'll go to the co-working chat. Where is the chat for co-working? Oh, here it is. Co-work text. I see it. All right. Here you go. I'm talking in the video, but it's a real short video.
Okay. So we can just let it play in that case.
Yeah, and you can just mute it
Gotcha.
if you want to just
Okay.
loop over.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. All right. Well, we got that
Right, so I'm gonna be
up, which
showing
is
you.
cool. I
So
guess
I can
real
kind
quick, let's you want to tell us a little bit about the game and your team?
Yeah, so this game is called Collard Cubes, and it was it's actually similar to Jay's in the fact that like I was trying to just do a simple concept to learn Unreal Engine because this is my first time ever doing anything with blueprints or anything with really any of that. I had two people helping me. There was Herod, he did all of the music and the sound effects, and it was his first time in Wise, and which is audio integration software or middleware for sound effects and stuff. And Helix Cube, who was doing some real cool stuff. He helped set up the UI functionality as well as the level progression and level like loading things like that. So he was a big help there as well. We had another person, Trav, who was going to help, but he got caught up with some work stuff. But
Okay.
yeah. So the basic concept is just basically you play as a block of collard greens and you just collect. You have to clear your plate essentially because you collect all the food blocks, and each colored cube is a different food. Like you'll see a orange one, which is yams, a yellow one, which is mac and cheese, a pink one, which is supposed to be ham, although it looks a little too pink for that, and I can't remember. I think there's like a dark purple one for cranberry sauce, and I don't know. There's some other colors. I think there's like a brown one for like a biscuit or something like that. And then you can jump in these. You'll see when you'll see when you run
Okay.
the video.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm definitely sensing some similarities to Jay's idea a little bit, which is funny. But yeah, let's jump into the video. Gotcha.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to be showing you color cubes in the editor because for whatever reason it won't build. So we just plays this little black collard greens, and we got these different foods up here we can collect. So yeah.
Very
Yep.
powerful.
Yeah. Hold on, let me actually close that. Yeah, so that was supposed to be like that was that was like the pot liquor when I first saw that and Tim you first like mentioned it, I had no idea what that was. So I was like, oh, it's like green juice. Oh, I kind of get it because I remember I used to like wash all of my food in that when I was younger.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and and so I kind of reminded me of that. So it's like, okay, yeah, you'll just like put all that together in there, and it's like the green, it makes everything taste better. So you just throw it all in there, which is probably cringe to people like, oh, why'd you have a little mix? Uh, is it was that.
Gotcha.
Um,
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. 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 Um. Yeah. All right. That's what's up. That's what's up. Now, and
oh, there was
I
supposed to be a. Sorry.
go ahead.
Um, Relating to the theme. So in the documentation, we never got this far, but um, I had ideas for like we had ideas for like the different levels would represent like different types of like dishware. Like like I was trying to look up like what did they first eat with like even back in like slavery times. It was like copper plates and stuff like that. So it's like okay, maybe this level will have like copperware and then copper plates and like maybe like wooden cups. And then it's like okay, then the next level is gonna be like the family barbecue picnic, where it's like those like plastic plates,
Mm-hmm.
little designs on them, and it's like all right. Then this one's gonna be like the fine cutlery. So this is where like the fancy dinner plates. Like this is so like all the different settings that collard greens would be eaten in. And then maybe the different levels would have different colored cubes that represents different types of foods that it's eaten with. So
Mm-hmm.
that was the concept. Kind of go for a very like Mario theme of like it's like uh it's like okay, this whole level represents everything. Like everything is like giant cutlery, giant fine china, giant everything. But in the end, everything just ended up being like everything just ended up being cubes and plates in a bowl.
Because that's all you
And
have time for, right?
yeah, that's it. It yeah, that's pretty much all we had time for. And then the blueprints, it was actually I did learn quite a lot from it. So it was like now I can go back in and I feel a lot more confident with like okay yeah we can do this and this will be pretty cool.
Right. 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 That makes sense. I do like the plates and the small artistic things that y'all did within the limitations to kind of like give it some character and like s- give some context to what's happening. There's like nice little details. I can imagine that you know in a different version of this, it would actually be similar to Jay's thing with like the little collard green character running around um, instead of the cube.
Yeah.
Very, very cute.
Yep. Thanks. Yeah. It was there was the like the levels nobody said anything but I'll say like the level layouts um they were they cause I actually realized I made a similar game like way back in another jam, and then that's just like with the levels they're just like set up as goal oriented. So it's like okay, the first
Hmm.
level we want to show you that like you can move around, and when you get towards these things, you can collect them, and it's like oh, and you can also jump. And then the second level is like just get across the concept. You can uh this big bowl of pot liquor is what you would use to collect everything. And the third level is actually the real level where it's got like actual like things and stuff, like actual platforming mechanics and things.
Right. Yeah, I got you. Okay.
Yep.
Well, let's see. We're running low on time, so I'll just pose one more question before we move on. Um, and I guess it's like, yeah, from this, I know, you do a lot more like sound design and composition work usually. So it's an interesting challenge for you to like be like leading a project in Unreal 4. So a similar question to how Jay was posed is did you enjoy working in the engine? Do you want to make more stuff in it? You know,
Yeah, I do. I do like working in an engine. I really like the blueprint system. It really is empowering, especially since I am not a programmer and I didn't need any
right.
like with Unity. I'd need to use like Playmaker and everything, and with Unreal, I didn't need to use any of that. It's just a different set of workload of things. It's like, oh wait, you have to use game modes. Oh, you can't. It's like, oh, you can't send variables from this thing to that thing. Oh, okay, I can't do that. Oh, you can't do this. Oh, I have to do it this way. I can't do it that. So it's just like learning the rules of Unreal. But then it's like where Lovester's like, oh, Unity's better than Unreal. I'll say for whatever reason, the Wise integration with Unreal is not as good as it is with Unity. Like I have, like when you go in the pot, like the whole song is actually supposed to transform a little bit, and that part of the event just gets ignored. And I spent probably like 2 hours trying to figure out why that is, and I have no idea.
Ooh, what a time sink. Oh man. That's rough.
Yeah, most of the game was done by that time. I probably should have spent it on like the website and trying to, but
Yeah, you didn't make the cutoff. You didn't make the cutoff to get it on. Of course, like you can we can still open it up for the submission for you late. On we'll talk about that in Discord. But yeah, y'all didn't get the page up, so it's unfortunate.
yeah, I mean, well, that's like the smallest problem. The biggest problem is we couldn't even build it. Like
Right.
if I build it, it just when you run it, it just says, oh, Wise plugin can't load because AK audio mixer, whatever. And it does that on Windows and it does it on Mac. And there's some like I've been trying to figure out. Me and Helix are trying to figure out what to do. And there's like people are like, well, turn it into a C++ project, but maybe not. And then maybe they move that around. And I'm like, so it just literally just does not build. It doesn't matter. I started a whole brand new project in with the Unreal and Wise, and it still didn't build with a blank project. So I'm just like, okay, that's fine.
Wow. Ooh, that's tough. Yeah, that's a hard one to learn on the at the end of the jam. Dang. I guess we'll have to do take some time to look into that a little bit to see how people do it with Unreal properly with a professional grade sound software like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I don't know, that's for sure. So, geez. All right, appreciate it, Dave. Thanks for coming on, talking about it, working through the technical difficulties, and we're still able to see a little bit of the action, which is cool. We will talk later about getting your stuff on itch for the page and get that ready. But I guess also how to get y'all a build made.
Yeah.
So, so the whole process. But cool. Thanks for coming on. We'll wrap up here.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good job, guys.
Mhm.
All right. Cool. Let's see. Nice. Bit. All right. Good stuff. Yeah, we had some good stuff. I think that's everybody that we have for the jam, all the teams. And made decent time. Yeah, good stuff. Thank you, Burr. Thank you for showing everybody's work.
Yeah, thank you everyone for submitting. Oh, we have a question from Scott actually for Dave. We're gonna have our Q&A session now. Yeah.
We might have a little bit of time. Let's see how much time we have for people if they want to hang around a little bit longer. I know we're already an hour in, I believe, right?
Sure. Yeah, just over.
Yeah, it was over an hour. So yeah, I guess for our crew that's hanging out, do people want to hang around and ask a few more questions in? We can bring people in and out a little bit to do a little extra Q&A for, I don't know, another 15 minutes if we have that much kind of thing. Um, let's see what people say in the chat, and kind of go from there. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I really like the diversity of the experiences this time around. It was pretty neat. And this was also very much smoother than it usually would have been with trying to do live demos. So this was also a very good move.
Yeah, I think overall, solid stream. Dave says there was one by Kirby. I don't think we have Kirby here to like showcase.
Nope. Mm-mm.
Right, so don't necessarily want to, yeah.
Yeah, not much.
To show that.
Yeah. That was I think that was submitted like the first day. So I'm not really sure how much work was done on it or if it was made before.
Yes, someone trying to get their name out, maybe. We'll never know.
Yeah, true. Oh man. But it's fun getting these little jam experiences that are like very I was talking yesterday about like being subtle with the connection to the food or to the dish versus like being like really obvious with the connection, right? Because I think for the past couple jams, especially the plantain jam that we had, it was a mixed but a lot of obvious uses of plantains, like very explicit uses of it as like a mechanic or as like a narrative device, right? Or I think there was like very explicit, like there was like bananas, like actual plantain, cooked plantains. And in this one we have like a little bit of a range of how the colors are being used. Jay's and Dave's project are like you play as a collard green and takes upon you like these attributes of a collard green as you're playing through, and then you have the dig deep experience, which is more or less along the lines of like there's a hint of the collard greens at the end. Um, I know it because like obviously I noticed it was very quick when you get the book. Like it has like a picture of a collard greens on the book. But there's also some other stuff kind of like hid like a couple little other things in there too. But um just these small little things of like how to pepper in the food into the experience is kind of a fun little way of like playing around and showing like some Easter eggs or something like that. Like where's the dish? Where is it in this game? It's got to be here somewhere, kind of thing.
Very
Yeah,
clever, yeah. The different ways it's worked in.
yeah, yeah. It's a fun little bit. I like it. Um, yeah. Oh, Scott was saying that his fastest run of the game of Dig Deep so far was he had gotten to the past the 18th hour mark, and had a deathless run, no bombs, no bombs. Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, did any of them in particular bear kind of make you particularly intrigued or you know think about something that came up?
I'm just always impressed by VR games, and so the Red Tails one really blew me away. Just like how you can even create something like that within 2 weeks is just showing how quickly the technology is advancing, and how we'll be able to create more immersive and like preserve true versions of history. It's very important, right, that we make sure that the truth is preserved. And so I think um being able to store it in a way that can kind of help you feel immersed, help you feel the emotions or whatever the person is feeling at the time. It's just always powerful to me. So
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, there's a lot of potential in that space. I think I think that's a lot of the things that I've seen in the VR space that has always kind of stood out to me the most is like that aspect of it, of like how to translate someone else's experience into the virtual space, and then have the player experience that in a very direct and visceral way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just always talk with people. It's just like it's so crazy that we're able to communicate really anything with each other, right? Like to share even the most base of emotions. So just seeing how technology can help with that is always inspiring. So.
Right. Mm-hmm. Definitely agree with that. I am would like to do some VR stuff more at some point in the future, but have not dabbled in that space in some years now. Um, but it would be cool. Would be cool, especially now that these days some of the challenges that we had early on in VR creation, like as we were like figuring out like methods and techniques on how to do certain things, or how to like not make people sick while playing, doing certain
Yes,
like types
sure,
of motions and stuff like
Go
that.
cross-eyed, yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of those things have been figured out now, so it's just kind of now we just got to make it and take those learnings and use them, and it's a lot easier. So definitely would be cool to explore that space more, especially with how accessible the latest products are on the market. So we'll get to that.
Yeah, what about you? Last question before we head out, I guess. It's just like, which game inspired you the most besides, Dig Deep, obviously, but
Right. I liked all the in particular pieces, the various threads, ideas that came up from how to connect it to the theme, and also if the food, if the recipe was used, so in particular, the Red Tails idea and its execution stands out of kind of that feeling. Like if I had a VR headset, I would like to like try it out because you're also like flying, which is also cool. Even if so it's like that's a neat just concept, and doing that and the action of it, which is neat. And once you start getting the sound effects for that kind of stuff going and in the right kinds of ways, then it's like, oh, you really feel like you're there, right? Um, and that's pretty unique. And then the I would say like Dave's experience just kind of like made me think out of cookouts, you know.
sure.
And like I could really see that like because like being branched into something that's like something very like Japanese inspired in a way, like in terms of like the how a lot of times like things that come from Japan, like games in particular, are like really quirky, or like have like like art styles that are really quirky sometimes. So I could see that like Super Monkey Ball or a
Sure.
Katamari type thing, right? Like that. I could see it going in that direction with that type of thing, and then like in the context of like cookouts and stuff, and that's kind of interesting um to like see like what that could be like. Like it sounds like a lot of like some fun and an interesting like cultural moment in different ways for people. So I hit some good boxes there. Yeah,
For sure.
yeah, but it's cool. It's cool. We had a lot of good ones. So
Also,
it's
yeah,
quality.
thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave, for agreeing with me there.
That's what's up. Yeah. But yeah, I guess we'll call it for today. Let's see. Other things. After today, we'll be in our Discord. We'll be doing like another session later, maybe next week. or maybe the week after. We'll have to schedule that as far as when we want to do it and what people's schedules are going to be like. But we want to do like another kind of interview showcase type format thing. But that's a little bit more informal and allow people to kind of talk a little bit more about just like a more like a post-mortem-esque type of thing for our chefs in the group. And we might do a live stream of that if people find some value in that. But we just kind of want to talk about the jam, talk about the games, talk about the engines that we use, and draw some connections to those things and learnings that we can use to go forward for future projects, and yeah, that kind of thing. So we'll talk about that. Otherwise, we'll just put the games out. And also we might, if there's interest, be talking about some potential playtesting scheduling
Yes,
to
Matt,
get.
yeah.
Yeah. So we can get some people come in, play the games, give feedback about them, like kind of get in the process of how to conduct a playtest in a organized way for people that don't have that experience before. And people that are watching or people that tune into the showcase or whatever that want to play test and get feedback on like the games are out, so people can just play them and leave comments, right? But we can also take effort to bring people in to play test explicitly, right? Like any other studio would do, So we'll talk about trying to schedule that and how to go about breaking into doing some signups and that kind of thing. I think that should be interesting. Yeah, that'd be cool because we can get some actual like people just like playing and us being able to watch and stuff, and that sounds fun. So yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. We'll kind of move into that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll definitely be posted on Discord. Just keep your eyes there for any of the things Tim mentioned, the play testing, feedback and whatnot. So stay tuned,
Right.
stay tuned. And thank you all for joining and participating, submitting games, taking part in the chat. Yeah, just a fun experience to be a part of. So
Right. Yes. This is good. This is a good one. This was a good one. I enjoyed it. Shout out to everybody that participated, either making something or just like chiming in as you or coming in to help out with like certain pieces in the experience. Like that was really good. Take some time, get some good food. We talk about food today. Get some good food in you on this Sunday, which is a good day of rest, especially after finishing all that kind of stuff up. Add stuff to the itch pages if you for anything that's missing that you haven't gotten on there already. And enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Yeah, sounds
all right,
good.
thank you everyone.